There we go. Okay, thank you all so much for joining us. The Engineering MBA team is on the call, and we're going to be answering any questions that you have today and chatting with you about how to be a competitive applicant. Before we get into all of that, let's do a quick check of who's on the call. If you would, give us your major, what you're doing right now, and any questions that you have. One question you hope to have answered: if you have never been to any of our presentations before, you weren't on the webinar last week, you haven't been at any of our presentations, let us know so that I know how much basic information we might need to review. Because if everybody here has already been to a presentation that we've given in the past, there's probably a few slides I can skip over. Okay, thank you, Lorena. Excellent, good to meet you. Good. I am so excited with the new people that we have on this call. I'm very, very excited with that. Interning at Carrier, yes. Great. First presentation, so many new people. I love it. Incoming freshmen. Oh my goodness. Wow, getting an early start. That's amazing. Taking classes, yes. Lunch break at an internship, love it. Excellent, excellent. Y'all keep chatting away. I'm going to go ahead and jump to introduce the team. So some of the things we'll talk about today, we'll introduce ourselves. I'll go over briefly. Many of you on the call, this is your first presentation. So I'll go over some of the basics of the engineering MBA as well as the application timeline. The timeline that we have in the presentation is for the people that would be joining us next year, the people starting in 2025. If you are a sophomore, freshman, incoming freshman, anything like that, your timeline will look different. You will adjust the years on that timeline. But in general, you will be applying to this program the summer before you graduate. We'll talk about how to be a competitive applicant. So the two main things, the application and the video pitch, will go into details about your resume, your transcript, part of the application, and the video pitch, and how you can make yourself the strongest applicant possible. And then, of course, I'll leave time at the end for some Q&A. So here's our staff. I'm Katie Stober. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions, and I will let the rest of my colleagues on the call introduce themselves as well.
I'll go ahead and start. Howdy, folks. I'm Sarah Yaksh. I'm the director for the full-time MBA program and the engineering MBA as well. So happy to have y'all on the call. And you got some great folks here that are here to support you. You can ask any of us questions, and looking forward to learning more about each of you.
Howdy, y'all. My name is Marla Collins. I serve as the assistant director on staff, and I'm excited to learn about all of y'all and hopefully see your applications come through after this webinar.
Howdy, my name is Haley Welch. I am the program coordinator for the full-time MBA program, and so excited to see all of y'all here to learn a little bit more about the program.
Howdy, everyone. My name is Lauren Ham. I am the MBA admissions officer here for our College Station MBA programs.
And my colleague Amanda is not on this slide, but Amanda, go ahead and introduce yourself too.
Hi, my name is Amanda Olson, and I am the Senior Associate Director for the Career Management Center.
So yes, Amanda helps our students get great internships and great careers after their MBA. If any of you have any questions, you know, for anyone specifically, we're happy to provide our individual emails. In general, though, this MBA programs email is the best way to reach us most quickly. So that is a great catch-all email that many of us monitor throughout the day. So that is the best way to get your answer as quickly as possible. Okay, let's jump into some of the basics. Since many of you, this is your first time with us. The engineering MBA is an MBA. So we get a lot of questions about, well, how many engineering classes will I take? Or what's the engineering component? Maybe the name is a little bit misleading. It's an MBA for engineers. So you will complete your engineering coursework entirely, receive your bachelor's degree in engineering, and then you will do a 12-month MBA. During that 12-month MBA, you will take 0 engineering classes. You will be done with your engineering classes. The classes you take during the MBA are entirely business classes, including accounting, finance, supply chain. So it is an MBA for engineers. You will improve negotiation, communication. It's not just the kind of those hard skills, those academic classes that you're taking. You will be taking a leadership development class. You will take a business communications class. You will take a career development class that Amanda is set to teach in just a few weeks. So why get an MBA? Why add that business skill set to your engineering knowledge? You can expand your career options. So if you're you know, if you're not satisfied with your current career path, or you're wanting a bigger expanse of career options and things that you could jump into, that's a good thing. And you can also accelerate your career path. A number of the people that I interview that have work experience, I say, why are you coming back for the MBA? And they say, well, I've hit a ceiling. I need the MBA for that next promotion, or I need an MBA for, you know, to make that move up the ladder in my career. So what doing the engineering MBA for you will do is take away that ceiling. So as soon as you leave the MBA, you can, that ceiling won't be there 2 to 3 years after you graduate. You will have a dedicated MBA career advisor on our career management team. It is a 1-year program. Again, if you are a freshman, sophomore, somebody coming in the future, just adjust those dates. You would start the July after you graduate, and then you would graduate with your MBA the following August. So it is a 1-year program. The current cost for the entire 1-year program is $63,000. Again, that is for the class incoming in this year. That could be subject to change between now, especially for those of you that are incoming freshmen. And all admitted students are automatically considered for scholarships. So you do not need to do anything extra to be considered for those. And with this being a new program, we have gotten word recently. We have several donors interested in creating scholarships specifically for the engineering MBA. So it is a very, very exciting time, and we anticipate we will have a nice pool of scholarship money to be able to offer our engineering MBAs. Anything any of my colleagues would add to the basics of the program here? No?
Nope, I think you got it.
Okay. So let's talk about the timeline. We've got some application rounds going on here. So priority applications are opening right now. These are 2025 application rounds. So again, kind of if you are if you're going to be a junior this next year, add a year onto these. You'll be looking at applying next July. So our priority application takes place over the summer. You would receive a decision by August 1st. So there's 2 advantages to this. If you apply priority, you get an application fee waiver. You can apply for $0. Also, you get that decision before or around the same time that you would be getting a job offer from your summer internship. So you're able to make your next decision moving forward with all of the information available. We're also having a webinar on July 22nd, and more information will be coming soon about that. Amanda will be hosting a webinar on July 22nd about how to talk to your employer. Say you do get admitted to the engineering MBA and you also get a full-time job offer. How do you talk to your employer about extending your start date for a year, or maybe adjusting your salary for this new MBA knowledge you would gain? Is your employer willing to foot the cost of some of the tuition and sponsor you to attend the MBA program? Those are all conversations that we encourage you to have with your employer, and we're going to have a workshop on July 22nd going over that. So your priority deadline, that's going to be July 15th. So we have a priority round this summer. Our kind of regular or standard application will open on August 1st, and that deadline will be October 15th. You will receive a decision before Thanksgiving, so you can take that decision home and talk with your family about it before deciding and depositing. And then after October 15th, basically, it is on a rolling basis, depending on how many seats we have left in the cohort. So I would definitely recommend applying by October 15th. Apply priority if you can, but definitely by October 15th to ensure that you get full consideration for admissions and scholarships. Like I said, if you apply after October 15th, your admissions and scholarships will be not guaranteed. It will be as seats are available. And the timing will look similar in future years. So yes, if you are a freshman or sophomore, just plan forward and plan to apply in the summer before you graduate. So this is why you're here today. Let's talk about what makes a competitive applicant. We are looking for strong academic performance. The MBA is a rigorous program, and it is quant heavy. You are taking a heavy course load of quant heavy classes, which you all are used to being engineers. We do prefer a 3.0 GPA, but you'll see at the bottom there, it says holistic review. And what that means is we look at everything on this list all together. So if someone has a 2.8 or 2.9 GPA, but they are strong in all of these other areas, they've had strong internships, they have strong leadership, they have a great video pitch, all of these other things are strong, then they could be a competitive candidate. Absolutely. So we look at strong academic performance. We will look at for some kind of work experience. Most of the students applying to us do have kind of traditional summer internships at a company, but it doesn't have to be. Maybe you've done a co-op in the spring or the fall. Maybe you've had a research experience, depending on your major. Research assistantships may be more prevalent and more common than off-campus internships. But we just want you getting outside of the classroom, getting your hands dirty, doing something. It does not have to be at a huge Fortune 100 company. It can be at a startup. It can be at a nonprofit. It can be, at a family business. It does not have to be engineering related. We just want you getting out, like I said, outside of your classroom, outside of your lab, and getting some experience. Extracurricular involvement. Again, we want to see that you are doing things outside of the classroom. The more well-rounded you are, the better. So that's great. If you've got leadership experience, definitely that will go there, and we'll talk about resumes in a bit. But show your three-dimensionality. Again, your extracurricular involvement does not have to be business related. It does not have to be engineering related. If you are the president of the Frisbee Golf Association, we want to know. We want to see that on your resume and see all of the different things you've done there. We're also looking for your motivation. A great GPA, great internships, great leadership kind of falls flat when we say, well, why do you want to do an MBA? And you just kind of or you don't smile at any point during your video pitch and you look completely bored. That we want to know that you have a good why, a good rationale for joining the MBA. So why are you interested? Why do your career goals require more business knowledge? Why an MBA from Mays? You could You could leave with your engineering degree and go to another school to get an MBA. Why stay here and get your MBA from Mays? And why now? You could leave and take that job and work for 2 or 3 years and come back for a full-time MBA. Why go straight through and do a 4+1? So just think about those things and make sure that your video pitch encompasses a good why and a good motivation. We do not need test score. We do not need full-time professional work experience. So let's talk about the application and how you can be a competitive applicant. I call it the MBA two-step. So step 1 is the application. The priority app will be through a Qualtrics link. So that's what's open during the summer. You all should have received emails from us with the link to that. If you're a 2025 applicant, you will have a link to that. If you don't, email us and let us know. We will get that link to you as soon as possible. On August 1st, the standard application will open in BusinessCast. Whether you apply priority or standard through BusinessCast, you will need the online application, resume transcript, and the application fee, which is waived for priority applicants. So keep that in mind. But this is how simple it is. We need the online application and 2 documents, and that's it. We wanted to streamline and make it as easy as possible. So no letters of recommendation. We don't require written essays. None of that is required. You just need your resume and your transcript, which hopefully all of you have handy somewhere on your computer already. So let's dive into this. Here is a resume. The template resume that I pulled here is from the Career Center website. They have a great resume bank. I think they have 4 or 5 different resume templates. Go on there, pull one of those, and it comes up as a Microsoft Word document ready for you to type in your name, type in all of your information. So you'll see here, it's a very simple format. It's clean, it's neat, it's easy to read. You'll have your degree up here. If you are a freshman, you don't need to put major right now. You can put general engineering. By the time you're applying to our program, you will have a major. And you will put graduation month and year out here. Experience, this is going to be the main part that we look at. So the common mistakes that we see are people just putting years instead of the months and the years. And I would say also the other 2 mistakes I see are thinking that it has to be big paid corporate work experience. If you are a director at a nonprofit and it is a volunteer role, but you do a lot, you work with budgets, you train new volunteers, you wear a lot of hats, you can include that as experience. It does not have to be paid. It does not have to be corporate. So talk with your career advisor at the Career Center, and they can help you if you have any questions about what's included or how to format something. Another thing I would say, especially for my engineers on the call, is de-jargon your the responsibilities and the things that you've done. None of the people reviewing this will be engineers, so keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to spell out your acronyms. Focus on collaboration, focus on leadership, focus on teamwork, focus on those kinds of interpersonal skills. It's really cool if you programmed, you wrote a new computer program to do something, but what was the effect of that? I wrote a new program that resulted in a 20% greater efficiency and whatever. So again, work with your career advisor at the Career Center, and they can help you come up with those kind of converting your actions into results, positive results for the company. Amanda, anything you would add to what we want to see on the top of the resume?
Well, not so much on top. You did a really great job of explaining that, Katie.
Mhm.
If they are interested in the template that we use here at Mays, I am more than happy to send that over as well. It's a little bit cleaner and a little bit more applicant tracking system friendly. So these are great templates for undergrads, but if you want to get that edge and send an MBA level resume, I'm happy to send that template as well.
Ooh, great extra credit. Yes. These are the templates available to undergrads, but yes, if you want to get extra credit and already turn your resume into an MBA resume, that would be great. Thank you, Amanda. And then the kind of the bottom part of the resume, leadership and activities. Any organization you've been in, I would say if you're just a member of the organization, you don't need to add bullet points, but any position that you've held on a committee or a leadership position that you've held, definitely include some bullet points in there showing that skill set that you've built at that organization. And then skills, whatever skills that you have that may be relevant. I get questions if it needs to be one page, if it could be longer. It can be. I don't know that many of your resumes are probably that much longer than one page at this point since you're still undergrads, but if you've done a lot of leadership or if you've had 2 or 3 internships, it may go onto a second page. That's okay.
Katie, can I jump in there on
Yes.
the 1 page versus
Yes.
2 page?
Yes.
I would say that if your resume starts to trickle into 2 pages, really think about the items that you have on there and how they might apply to an MBA.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's not relevant, it might not need to be there. So that's the one thing that I would consider as you're going from a 1 page to a 2 page. That's what we want our employers to see as well, as the things that are relevant to your next step. And for you, your next step is the MBA. So are some of these things relevant to the MBA and what's going to get you noticed? And think about those as you're moving away from a 1 page to a 2 page, because I think more often than not, you're going to realize that a 1 page is going to suffice just fine.
Mm-hmm. And generally what we would advise people to do at the Career Center was have a master resume. So like do a brain dump and put everything on it. And it may be 4 or 5 pages long once you put everything you've ever done your whole life. Then for each job, what is the 1 page most relevant? So the 1 page that you use to apply to an engineering MBA program, that resume may look very different than the one you use for an internship, than the one you use for a scholarship, than the one you use for something else. So that was the resume portion. Oh, and we are happy to review. Before you apply, if you would like to email your resume to our team or to Amanda, definitely do that. We're happy to give it a quick review before and give you any feedback before you submit it. In terms of your transcript, nothing you could do to change it at this point other than the grades that you make going forward. But we are looking for an unofficial transcript. You can pull the PDF from your Howdy portal. Just know that we look at overall GPA. We look at GPA in your major. We look at GPA in the last 60 hours. So if you are one of those students and your GPA is not as high as you would like it to be, you can still be a competitive candidate. I want to reassure everyone on the call, it is okay to have transfer credits. It is okay if you've used some of your Q drops. It is okay if you retook a class and got a higher grade the second time. That is okay. We are all human. We also, as an admissions committee, tend to give grace and leeway for freshman year. So let's say your GPA is a 3.0. If we look and your freshman year was a little bit rocky, but the past 60 hours you have been really, busting your butt and making great grades, and you have a few semesters in there that are 3.8s or 3.9s to bring that GPA up to a 3.0. That shows us great perseverance, and we take that into account. So we do look at the overall GPA, but we will go semester by semester on your transcript and look at the story that it's telling. We don't just look at that 3-digit number of overall GPA. I will say if your GPA is lower than a 3, if you have any semesters that are where you withdrew from school or any semesters that stand out as kind of anomalies on your transcript, don't be afraid to, I would encourage you to talk about that, a few seconds of time in your video pitch to talk about that, about, hey, this was happening in the first semester of my sophomore year, but it has built And then you can talk about the positive qualities that it built in you. How are you a better candidate for having that rough semester than if it was smooth sailing the whole time? So think about that, and you could definitely bring that up in your video pitch in a very positive way. What positive traits is that built in you? Does anybody have any questions about the resume or the transcript requirement?
Yes, I actually have one.
Yes.
So if we have positions that we were elected to serve during our senior year, right, are we allowed to include those on our resume? Should we just adjust the flunk years?
Oh, so like you've been elected to them and you will have those in the fall, but you haven't started them yet.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I would just say put future dates then. So you could have, you know, like president of whatever club at Texas A&M, and then it could just show August 2024 through May 2025. That's okay. I would just make sure that those dates are future dates. And then you might just, your bullet point action verbs might be in the future. You know, I will be leading I will be. Amanda, any thoughts on putting future? I would say definitely put it on there, but any formatting advice for putting future things on there?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Put the future dates, but definitely include those. And if you know what some of those objectives are, you might not be able to show the impact yet, but if you have room on the resume, show what those objectives might be.
Yes.
That sounds great. Thank you all so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the video pitch is the second step. So we've had our application with our resume and transcript. That was step one. The video pitch is the second step. It is in place of the written essay and interview. It's a 2-minute video, and it answers the questions why. And we talked about the motivation piece. Why are you interested in the engineering MBA? Why an MBA? Why at Mays? Why now? All of that encompassing in that. What are your career goals? What do you want to do after the MBA? Do you have a specific industry? Do you have specific companies in mind? It's okay if you don't have in fact, it's better probably if you don't have, well, I want this job title at this company. That's very narrow. It's probably best if it's a little bit broader than that, but we do want it narrowed down a little bit. So industries, functional areas, let us know what areas you're curious in learning more about. We're not going to come back if you end up getting into saying in the video pitch that you're interested in marketing and brand management, and then you get in the program and fall in love with supply chain. We're not going to take your degree away from you at the end of the program if your job ends up being different. That happens to quite a few of our students end up kind of shifting their career goals in the program, but we want to know that you're curious. We want to know that you are striving towards a career goal, and that's part of your why. And then, yeah, what unique skills, qualities, experiences will you contribute? We've made these questions broad for a reason, because we really want you to, this is your opportunity to show your three-dimensionality. I'm not going to lie, resumes and transcripts are pretty boring to look at once you've looked at 100 of them all in a row. Resumes and transcripts are boring. It's a bunch of numbers and dates, and they all start looking the same after a while. The video pitch is your opportunity to be memorable, to be three-dimensional. Come back on July 2nd. We are having a webinar on how to have a great video pitch. So we'll go more into detail there. But yeah, so keep that in mind. You do get unlimited takes for your video pitch. So make sure you're polished, you're professional. If you're not cut off mid-sentence at the end because you mistimed things with the 2 minutes. Yes, it can be just allow yourself to, if you're not happy with it, if your cat walks across the screen in the middle of it, redo it. Be your most professional and polished self possible, because you do get unlimited takes. So we're looking for some of the things we're looking for. Yeah, the content of your answers. Just if we were to have a transcript of the words that you're saying, what are your career goals? What are your, qualities? What are your strengths? Will you be a good fit for the cohort? Professionalism and polish. Does it look like you're rehearsed? Does it look like you took time and care to make the best video possible? And your enthusiasm. Like I said earlier, if we make it through the entire 2 minutes and you haven't smiled once and you talk about your motivation like you're talking about making an appointment to go to the dentist, we notice and it is very noticeable. So we are looking for that enthusiasm piece as well. So don't be afraid to smile and lean forward and look excited about your future. That's not a bad thing. If you are graduating after May of 2025, continue building your GPA, look for leadership opportunities that can be unofficial through teams in class projects and things like that, or it can be official. It can be a titled position with a student org. It could be off-campus volunteering with within your community, with your church, anything like that. Part-time work, a student worker position on campus. These are all great opportunities to build leadership. Work with your Career Center advisor to secure a summer internship. For most of you, this will be between your junior and senior year. Some companies offer internship opportunities to freshmen and sophomores, though, so definitely work with your Career Center advisor. Start researching career paths. Your career advisor can also help you with that networking piece and starting to talk to people and explore different career paths. What career paths are possible with someone with a combination of an engineering undergrad and an MBA, and which ones would be the best fit for you? So those are definitely conversations you should have between now and when you apply. And stay three-dimensional. I would say it's so easy, especially I have heard horror stories about the sophomore year of engineering and the curriculum that y'all go through. Don't let your personality, don't let your hobbies fall behind. I guess what I'm saying is don't let your major become 100% of your personality. Try to still be three-dimensional. Some our strongest, most competitive applicants have good GPAs, have good internships, but they're also the ones that surprise us with those little extra pieces. They're the most memorable. The person who is they are a mechanical engineer, but they're also in the Aggie Wranglers, or they are a chemical engineer, but they also build and design their own sailboats. We just love learning about all of your new hobbies. So definitely stay three-dimensional as you're looking for extracurriculars and leadership opportunities. If any of you have questions about financial aid, scholarships, paying for the program, anything like that, definitely reach out to Joanne Byrne. As I mentioned, all of our students are automatically considered for scholarships, but the amount of full ride scholarships we have is limited. So definitely you will want to meet with Joanne Byrne to see about your payment options and financial aid availability. Upcoming virtual events. So, like I said, on July 2nd, tips for an outstanding video pitch. Mark your calendar for that one. I will also send RSVP links to both of these out to y'all this afternoon when I send a link to the recording. So on July 2nd, we have the outstanding video pitch. And on July 22nd, we'll be talking about, if you have an MBA and a job offer at the same time, how to weigh that choice and how to negotiate grad school with your employer. Amanda is amazing at having those initiating those difficult conversations with employers. Maybe Amanda, we should have titled it like getting your employer to pay for grad school and making them think it was their idea.
I love it. Let's change it. We got time.
Okay. I love it. I love it. These are the things you will learn in your business communications and career development class. Thank you all so much for being on the call. We have plenty of time now for Q&A if anybody has any questions for any of us on the call.
Katie, while those are thinking about questions, I did want to
Mhm.
add one thing about resumes, if that's okay. I wanted to give, if there are people in the call that are involved in lots of things on campus, but are so involved in lots of things that you know you didn't have the bandwidth to do a leadership position in that, to know that that is still a valuable experience to add to the resume, and you are welcome to put those bullet points of the experiences that you're, for example, you volunteer at the Humane Society every week, or you've done big event every single year you've been here, but only as a participant. And that but is not to say that it's not important. It is to say it's extremely important and extremely invaluable to add to that. So please know that, like Katie said, it does not have to be a paid experience. It does not have to be an internship. It can be a unpaid nonprofit or volunteer work you did all summer. The biggest thing that we are looking for is how you're taking the skills learned from that and making them transferable to what we are looking for at the MBA and for the engineering MBA. So just wanted to make sure that was known as someone who was really involved in undergrad, but the leadership positions are always slim, right? And so there's only so many and there's 80,000 students. So you just want to make sure to kind of include all that you can and all that you feel is transferable.
Marla, if I can add to that, leadership is an act, it's not a title. And so kind of adding on to what Marla is saying, all of those experiences are valuable, and they're not just valuable to get into our program, but they're going to be valuable to employers as well.
And there's also ways to find unofficial leadership. If you haven't been elected to a position, there are other ways, like I said, team leadership or different committees or through volunteer work. So finding those unofficial opportunities to raise your hand, and you can create your own leadership positions. If you're volunteering with the Humane Society and you see a need, maybe they need a new volunteer manual or a volunteer handbook. Ask them if you can redo it. Ask them to create a new one. Ask them. So taking the initiative and finding those unofficial kind of create your own leadership position here. Maybe you're in an organization and they need a new leadership position. Don't be afraid to propose and create your own position and propose that to the leadership team.
Folks, if y'all have other questions, feel free to ask those. You can either unmute and speak up and ask, or you can drop them in chat. I also want to be mindful. I know some of you are on your lunch at internship. So if you don't have questions, please feel free. You're totally good to leave now if you need to go and eat and do whatever else you need to do with the time that's left. So feel free to reach out to us if you need to be in touch. We'll stay on the phone for a little bit here on the Zoom call. But if you need to go, that's totally fine too.
Hi, I had a question real quick about the resume.
Yes.
When we're weighing, like, how important does like the time period that you performed an activity factor in? Like, let's say you did like a leadership position, but just for a year, versus like you participated in something for like all 4 years of undergrad.
I mean, it's holistic. I use that word a lot. But we do look at both. So it will also depend on something like many of the titled positions like president or VP or things like that, you could only be that for 1 year. So absolutely, 1 year is not a discountable amount of time. 1 semester, if you were leader of a team for 1 semester, that's worth putting on there. If you led a team at big event and it was only for 1 week, that's worth putting on there. So yeah, I would not discount your experience because it was only for 1 semester, only for 1 year. It's much more important to look at the impact that you've had, or the kind of the quality of the experience rather than the duration.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Hi, I had a question about the video pitch.
Mhm.
So with that video pitch, are you able to take a video, say on your phone or on somewhere else, and upload it to where you submit it? Or is it only you take takes on that video through the portal?
I believe, Lauren, you experimented with this recently, didn't you?
Yes, so
Did-
it'll be
yeah.
through the link. So you're not able to take like an exterior video and upload it. You would have to do it like via the Spark Hire, that same link, and just do the takes.
Okay, thank you.
But you should be
But-
able to use your phone because
Yeah.
the phone,
Right.
like, if you access the link through your phone,
Right.
it should be fine. I would just say make sure it's stable, get a
Mhm.
tripod or
Okay,
something.
yeah. Thank you, guys.
And
Yeah.
you get unlimited takes on that
Mhm.
method too. I will make that note as well.
Yes, yes.
Great. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
You bet.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks,
job, team.
ladies.
Thank you.
Good job, Jamie.